And we're live on YouTube, everybody. It's that easy. Hey, everybody there. Welcome to the Marley Bird YouTube channel. We are glad you are here. If you haven't noticed yet, I've been pretty much going live since Sunday night. So, hey, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times a day. It's been quite a week around here in Marley Birdland. I am coming to you tonight to talk about the Turkey Trot knitting project for day number 5. And I am joined by 2 of the testers tonight. We have Christina and Rhonda, who have both been on here, but I don't know if it was for knitting or crochet, or I mean, my brain is mush at this point, but they've been here. So say hi, ladies.
Hello.
So I know both of you have given like a brief sort of introduction to yourself as to, who you are and how you have come to be a tester, or, your involvement with all this. But why don't we give them just a brief introduction to yourself? Okay, so I'll let Christina start and then we'll go to Rhonda. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to get some information in the video description box.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Cool. Hi, I'm Christina, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. Well, not anymore, really. I mean, I stay at home, but I teach now virtually. I teach 8th grade through a bridge program, and I homeschool my kids. So when I'm not doing that is when I knit and crochet and listen to audiobooks. That's basically my life.
All right. Well, my name is Rhonda Madsen, and I live in Golden, Colorado, and I've been knitting for about 12 years now. I met Marley when she was teaching knit classes in a little knit store called Knit Knack in Arvada, Colorado. So I have a 20-year-old and a 24-year-old. So my husband and I are empty nesters, so I'm able to spend more time knitting.
How is it possible the kids are that old now?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, like I just felt really old all of it. I was like, no way. Yeah. Jesse's 24?
She's 24, graduated from college 2 years ago, and Joe is a junior at CSU, your alma mater.
Holy crap. Jesse's still in Arizona?
No, she's in California now.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I know these kids when they were like before high school.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. Oh my gosh. And I can't believe it's been 12 years even. I mean, guys, it was so much fun teaching Rhonda how to knit, because it was, I've talked about this several different times where you guys have heard me say where you sit down with somebody and it's just like you're instant friends. Like that's how I was with Rhonda. That's how I was with Christina. That's how I was with Caitlin. It's just like, it's like, boom, I want to be friends with that person, and that's just how it was. And we clicked. We used to spend after hours, like Knick Knack would close. We would sit there and talk and knit at the round table in the front of the store. It'd be like midnight. We were leaving, because I had a key to the yarn store, which can I just tell you how cool that is?
Oh, that was the best.
It was the best, because you were in the morning group, weren't you? When we would show up in the morning with Santiago burritos, and we'd have coffee there. And we had a morning knitting class. And so every Saturday morning, we were there at like 8 or 9 in the morning. And then, so we had a class before the store opened. And then I would have 3 more classes throughout the day. Like it was an all day thing. I loved it so very much. I was meant to do this, but I
always said, I'm the first. Marley made me do it.
Yeah.
I'm customer number 1.
It's so true. It's so true. That's awesome. So anyways, these lovely ladies are now part of my testing group. I have a specific number of testers who are simply awesome, guys. They just help me out in so many different ways. They get on my crazy train and they go down this path with me. They give me a hard time. Some of them are like, really, Marley, you want us to test this like within 5 hours of when you're going to release? I'm like, no, you don't have to, but there it is. Like if you want it. But the good news is I brought them here today because, as you know, with the Turkey Trot, the knitting project is taking a while for everybody to knit. Totally get it. I understand. It took me some time to knit it. It took the testers some time to knit it. And part of the discussion as we were going through the knitting process was, this is taking longer than what we planned. I hope people aren't, I'm just going to be honest, hope people aren't pissed off about it, but it's so pretty. We didn't want to change the design. So I've said all along, I didn't compensate for the beauty, or is that the word I'm looking for? I didn't
compromise.
That's the word. I didn't compromise the beauty of the piece for the essence of time. Like I was like, this needs to be this piece. It's so pretty. It's exactly what I had designed in my head. It's coming out gorgeous. And I just was like, we're just going to go with it. So in that sense, in that theme, if you have not already picked up on this, you have been given 3 extra days of the turkey trot. So turkey trot for the knitters is not 6 days, it's 9. I hear myself. I hear how ridiculous that is. I totally understand. And in the process of doing this, I've often thought to myself, maybe I need to start the knitters first and let them like work like 3 days before the crocheters jump in. Like maybe that's how I do this when I'm trying to do knit along, crochet alongs, because I can't ever keep them at the same pace. Everybody works so differently. It's funny, some of the crocheters today were asking for more time, and I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like, you're nearly done. Like where you are in your process, you're nearly like, you are so close to done. It's because they don't know what they're making. They don't know that, right? So I keep trying to tell them, you're so close to done, where the knitters are like, dude, this just says fronts. We haven't even touched back. Like they know we're not even halfway. So I'm sorry, knitters. I really am sorry. It was a huge part of a discussion of, do I go this route? I mean, do I make another shawl? It's not a shawl. If you haven't put that together, it's not a shawl. For the knitters, it's not a shawl. I didn't want to make another shawl. I'm sorry. I didn't want to. But pocket shawls are so popular, so we changed it up a little bit. So this is my take on the popular pocket shawl, but it's not a shawl. And I'm hoping that when you're finished, you will love it as much as we do. Okay. So Rhonda and Christina are here. Christina is actually, I think, one of the furthest testers. Like she's either almost done or done. Are you done yet?
I still have like, based on what you're going to give them for day 8 and 9, 7. No, I'm through the next day for them for sure.
Okay.
So I'm like halfway through the next big chunk.
Awesome.
I don't want to give it away.
I know, right? I don't want to give it away.
Like, how much do I say?
And then Rhonda, how far along are you?
I'm still at the tail end of day 2.
Okay.
Starting awesome. Day 3. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're all at different places, which is great. Like we're all at different places, right? Like I have the wrong stitch count for day 1. That's where I am. So what we're going to do today is I did give everybody an extra 3 days. So I took a small bit of the instruction that would have been a bigger part of day 5, and I made it so it's just this small little section for day 5. And that's why Christina is here. She's actually going to show you that part as we talk through the instructions, because that is where we actually connect the right and the left fronts, and we create the back ribbing of the back of the neck. And so it's a really beautiful thing. I don't want you to look at all of the words that are written out and then overthink it and be like, this is so confusing. It's really, we're going to break it down very simply. We're going to be going into a very simple ribbing pattern, but we've got to have just a little bit of not ribbing pattern. We're going to go into, well, a form of the knit 2 purl 2 pattern that we've been keeping throughout the whole thing. But I do want to extend that ribbing that you've been working on that's next to the lace. We want to make sure when we connect for the back of the neck that it extends in the back of the neck. That's why we have to do those stitches. And it's just, I mean, however many rows, I don't even know how many rows it is, like 8 rows, 8 rows.
8. Yeah.
So even though there are instructions for day 5, it's 8 rows. And so day 5 really is sort of it's a catch-up day again, plus 8 rows. So do you see what I'm saying here? Okay, I need to open up the chat room. let me open up the chat room while I'm doing that. Do you guys have the chat room open on yours yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So I have put a link to the main blog post in the video description box. You guys can click there. You guys know how that works. I can actually do a share screen real quick and just give you a quick glimpse right over here. So hopefully you guys are seeing my screen. This is the main URL you go to every single day. I know most of you have already put that into your Marley Bird folder on your web browser. I've scrolled all the way down to the bottom where it says get turkey trot clues here. And I'm going to scroll to day 5. Remember, day 4, you had an off day. Like there were no instructions for day 4 at all. So day 5 down here, that's where I let you know that I'm giving you extra time. Click there. It takes you to the day 5 instructions. And I updated this. It says update about more time. And this is where I put in there, I was like, look, I get it. We're all falling behind. I put that in quotation marks because really, you know what? This is our rodeo. This is our show. We can change it up and we can decide that we're going to move our deadline or move our finish point whenever we want. And so we're just giving ourselves some extra time. And I'm going to extend the 3 days as far as I want to say the due date or whatever for the finished. I think that was December 7th. We're going to give it 3 extra days. I mean, why not? Let's do this. Let's have some fun. This should not be stressful. This should be an enjoyable process. And if you even have to put it down and come back to it later, that's fine too. It's okay. So all of this stayed the same as far as all the main information. Same cable stitches are listed there. I left them there, even though you aren't going to be continuing the big cable portion. I left all of those instructions there. On day 6, I'll probably remove those just so you don't get confused. I didn't change anything in the notes. If you don't know, you're already here on the Zoom call. So I'll go back there and I will add a link to the Zoom call. And then I want to remind you the 24, or not 24, I almost said 24 days of quickies. The Stash Busting Quickie Patterns bundle, tomorrow night it expires. So if you want to get 46 patterns plus the printables and the tags that you can get, which is a $5 value, plus a $10 coupon to the Moogly Ravelry store, a $10 coupon to the Marley Bird Ravelry store. So all of that together is a $25 bonus that you get for a killer price of $14.97. All of that will go away tomorrow night at midnight Eastern time. And then the PDF book will be at full price. So you're going to want to make sure you get that deal. So I have those links there. Okay. Same deal about the Lifeline. I would absolutely add your Lifeline before you move on to this next step, just so that you have it there. If something should go wrong, you have a place to go back to. And then here we are. So I want to look at this real quick. I see this row 1, I see all of those words, and you could definitely be like, well, crap, that looks like it's a whole lot, right? It looks like it's a whole lot, but it's really not. So I want to talk through this real quick. It says you're starting with the left front. So you start off with your knit 1 and then knit 2, purl 2 3 times or 5 times. We've been doing that all along. So you get to your marker, you slip your marker, you knit through the back loop. We've been doing that all along. What changes is right here. Oh, you know what? If you're going to add your Lifeline there, you're on a cable row. I don't want you to add your Lifeline right before a cable row. So I would add a Lifeline maybe the row before you join, because it's harder to cable with a Lifeline in the row. So I would do it like the row before. Anyways, you slip your marker, knit 1 through the back leg. And this is where we were doing the lace. And now we're changing it. We're not going to do the lace here. Or no, right? Am I doing this right? No, it isn't the lace. You're going to jump into your cables. I'm thinking of the right front. I'm sorry. You do your cables across what you're supposed to. Remove your marker. That's where your marker was for where the cable changed. And then you jump into the cable 2 front, cable 2 back again. Remove your marker. Okay, so we're no longer going to do what we did in day 3, where we changed the cables in the center right above the pocket. You're no longer going to do those cables. Okay, so you're done with those cables. So you remove that marker again, and you're back to your honeycomb cables 3 times, remove your marker, honeycomb cables, and then knit 2 through the back leg. All right, so we essentially did our ribbing and we got back to where we were before the pocket so far, right? That's what we did. We just got back to our honeycomb ribbing. Slip our marker. Then it says purl 2, knit 2 3 times, purl 1. So where did I miss the lace? Where I skipped over the lace? I'm going back and forth looking at the words and then looking at here, so I get mixed up a little bit. So we did move the marker, do the honeycomb 3 times, move the marker, do the honeycomb 3 times, knit through the back leg, slip marker, purl 2. So it's right here. Remove the marker, and then this C2F, C2B 3 times. That's where the lace was, correct?
Yeah.
I do believe that's where the lace was. So you no longer are doing the lace. That doesn't, I mean, am I correct there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. regardless, here's what's happening, y'all. You're keeping the ribbing on the outside. You're going to be working your honeycomb over to where you can get to your ribbing that's on the other side. And then you're going to join to the right front where you keep your ribbing, you work your honeycomb essentially over to the other side, and you work your ribbing. It's really that's what it breaks down to. You're no longer going to work the special cable that we used on top of the pocket. I'm saying on top of the pocket, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like above the pocket. Mm-hmm. So you're no longer going to work that, and you're no longer going to continue with the lace. All right. So for this section, we're going to just work some of that ribbing where it connects at the 2 in the back of the neck. We're going to continue with some of that for 8 rows. Did I explain that right, Christina? I mean, I'm asking Christina because she's actually like done it in hand. So I just want to make sure.
Yeah, and I can
it in such a way that somebody who has done it can see it. So she's going to actually show the camera and talk you through it some more. So I'm going to mute myself and then make her so that her screen is a lot bigger.
Okay. Hello. We are going to, hopefully, I'm going to try to show in here what we looked at. Okay. So we have the ribbing over here, and then we had honeycomb, and then we had cables, and then we had honeycomb, and then we had ribbing. Okay. Now you can see my pieces are connected. Okay. So when we come up, I worked past your guys' clue. So I'm trying to not show everything to you. Okay, so if you look here, the ribbing stays ribbing and the honeycomb stays honeycomb. Here we had cabling, different cables, okay? Now we have more honeycomb, okay? And then we came over and we had more honeycomb and it's still honeycomb, okay? And then, trying to get this, there we go. So this is where the lace was. Now, as you see above, it's just honeycomb, okay? So we work across this row, honeycomb, and then we have the ribbing. Okay, still the same ribbing, and it's now connected to work to the other side. And the other side looks the same, where we have ribbing. I'm trying to get this lighting. Ribbing stays the same. The lace is changing to honeycomb. Where we have the honeycomb in the middle is the same. The big cables, there we go, turned into honeycomb up here. And then we go all the way across and we have ribbing. So once you get through that first row of switching all the things over from one thing to the other thing to all honeycomb and ribbing, once you get through that first row and you have new markers and everything like that, you're going to be flying through the next few rows, because that's like the main one of getting them connected. But all you're doing is knitting across the left stitches, and then you just start knitting across the right stitches. That's it. It's not so bad.
I'm so glad to hear you tell them that, because that's what I thought too. And this whole time, if you guys have noticed, that one stitch on the edge, that was that garter stitch that we had, so now it becomes the purl stitch right in the center of the back of your neck. So it makes the transition of the ribbing go really seamlessly from your, knit 2, purl 2, and then you have those purl 2s there that we have now joined, which were the 2 garters, but now they're joined and they're purl 2s on the right side. And then, you go across your back into your ribbing. So that first row might take you a while. So make sure you're awake. Yeah. If you're one of those people who've been knitting really late at night, I see you, I hear you, I speak your language. Make sure you have a little bit of coffee in you, maybe put it down until the next day, because that row is really important. So you want to make sure you get that row done. And then as you start carrying on, you're like, oh, all right, I get this. I see what's happening here. I could see this jive. It's really good. And I don't know about you guys, but my whole point of the back of the piece, I think I talked about this in the video 3, it's not stockinette. Somebody asked me that before. There's no other stockinette on the piece with the exception of inside the pockets that's hidden. So I don't want stockinette on the back of the piece. I want it all to look very seamless. Oh, hi, John. I love how he's trying to reach in. Okay. Is he gonna get the dog out? Nope. Come on.
The dog can't decide.
So he cracks me up. He's like,
like, I see you.
I know. So anyways, the back of the piece, I wanted to make sure it looked very similar to the front without all the action. So honestly, I knew that the front of the piece was a lot of work. All right. I knew it was a lot of knitting. I also knew it was a lot of work, but I also know that, like, hey, you put your pretty on the front, right? You're going to wear something, you make it look pretty. The long lines of lace and the ribbing, very elongating. They look beautiful. They're a slimming look. It helps hold the weight of any sort of garment. So whether you're larger or smaller, this is a big piece regardless, because it's a one size fits all sort of thing. So you want a stitch pattern that's going to hold. And even if it stretches a little bit, the honeycomb looks really cool stretched out. Like there's a process to me doing all of this, right? So when it gets to the back, I want to make sure it looks equally as nice. So the point of me saying all that is when you get to these back stitches, I really hope you view them as a relaxing knit. It's knits and purls and just a little bit of extra thrown in there, right?
Yeah.
When you get to day 6, 7, 8, and 9, well, 6, 7, and 8, day 9 is some finishing. It's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. But I don't know. It's really pretty, you guys. It's so pretty. And it's not a shawl. I mean, come on. Who wants to make another shawl? I like shawls, but really, I wear them every now and again, but I will wear this piece more than I would wear a shawl. And I mean, that was the consensus with all of the contractor or the testers also. How about you, Christina? What do you think?
I knit and crochet, so I pretty much always have the choice, whichever Marley's things that she's making. And now that I test, I get to see both things first, but I was chosen to get to do the knitting. The knitter. Yeah. But of the two projects, they're both so unique and awesome and when I started knitting, I knew that it was going to take a while. And I have kids, this weekend's been kind of crazy for me too. They want to get the Christmas tree decorated and all those things. So I'm not done, but I'm not throwing it and saying, you know what? I don't want to do this, because I'm really excited to finish it. So much so I'm like, okay, what's our next project, Marley?
Yeah.
I'm like asking her.
Yeah, she already did. She already asked
when are we doing the next thing? Because I'm kind of into this craziness. I didn't know that I was into it, but I'm into it.
Right.
So
we do have a comment. Great grandma Amanda is saying that she's so confused. I think I'll opt out of this one. Happy holidays to all who have the patience and talent to keep up with this project. So I am going to say, Amanda, that if you've been able to keep up in the sense that each section has been a different stitch pattern, once you get past this row, you're getting back to where you only have 2 stitch patterns. So if you've been able to keep up with 3 or 4 3 stitch patterns, 4 stitch patterns across each front, you're getting down to where you're just going to have 2 stitch patterns. So, I mean, literally don't overthink it and just go with it. Just go with it. And it turns out really, really, really pretty. You're just going from one, this is a very good point. You're going from one knitting needle on each side to one long knitting needle joining the 2. So you remember in the materials list, you guys were asking me, Marley, do I really need 2 size 9 smaller needles and 1 size 9 60-inch needle? And I said, yes, you need it to accommodate the number of stitches. All right. So it's 100 stitches, right? On each front for the smaller size. So now you're going to have 200 stitches on one needle. I want you to be able to stretch those out and not have them all squished up together, which is why I said to use the 60-inch needle. So this is when you would work across this row with your longer needle. Everybody with me on that? Yeah?
Yep. If it helps, I took my 2 pieces and I strung them onto my really long needle. So I was ready. Like, it doesn't confuse you. You're not working from this set to this set. You just slide them all onto your big needle, take your working needle with the left side yarn and just start knitting. Pretend that it's not 2 separate pieces. Just knit this one and then follow the instructions and keep going to the next one. It's not as crazy as it does look like a lot, like she said, to make sure. And I like to knit downstairs sometimes when I watch TV or crochet or something like that. But this part, I made sure was upstairs. But now I'm just using my my counter here.
Yes.
All of my rows, because they are all just it's a lot easier, and I don't have to be in front of my computer to have the pattern up or anything like that now.
Rhonda, do you have one of those row counters yet?
No.
Okay, girlfriend, I know how you knit and I know how visual you are. You need one of those row counters.
I made this.
Did you? So the twice sheared sheep, you can buy them from there. You do yourself a favor, get one for yourself and just put it in your Christmas stocking.
Okay.
Get like 4 or 5. Like
you need a few. Like I only have one and it's on one side of my project. So when I go, I have to work through the whole right side before I can switch it to the next one. And then I have it like from my ribbing, like right there. So it's like, I switch. Oh, it's row 2. Nope. Now I'm on row 3 already. So I'm like, I need one on this side and this side.
Yeah. Yeah. Rhonda, totally get yourself one. Like they're fantastic.
So Christina, when you said that when you have both pieces and then you put them together on one, so then you just knit those two together and then they're joined that way. Is that what you're saying?
So I just knitted across the left side stitches. And then right when I got to the right stitch, I just started my ribbing again right there. Okay. And just from knitting this stitch on the last stitch on the left side and the first stitch on the right side, that's how they're joined. And then you just keep going. It's way really easier than it.
Yeah. It's nothing special. It's just like when we were adding the pocket.
If you could do the pocket, you
can do this. Like we just moved stitches and we started knitting across the pocket, which wasn't even attached at all. It's sort of the same thing. You're working across these stitches. We just aren't moving anything. We're just starting to work across the other side. If you could do the pocket, you could do this. Absolutely. And you guys love the pocket. I mean, I have not heard one negative thing about that pocket. They're like, this is great. It has pocket. I've never done a pocket. This is so awesome. I'm like, dude, I know. Don't let anybody tell you that something is too hard for you guys. It is sticks and string. As long as you sit there, take your time to work through it, you're fine. You can do any of this. I believe in all of you. Pam, Christina is asking if you could show them the counter and explain how it works. So I will let you guys know. While you're doing that, I'm going to look for my blog post about those two.
About them, yeah.
So I'm going to put you on speaker view.
Okay. This is a row counter. Try to show you. Okay, so it has numbers on it. So there's 1, 2. Oh, you know what? Let me see if I can switch my video to not be mirrored image.
No, we were seeing them the right way, Christina.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay, that's shocking. I teach on Zoom and it's never like that. Okay, so there's 2 and then 3. So each time, so right now it's on my needle, so that means I'm on a row 1. But I have this little, it's a ball of yarn with knitting needles in it. It's hooked to my number 5. So that means I've done 5 repeats. So when I go to my next row, I will slide this one onto my needle. And then when I do the next row, I keep going through. So as you know, everything's been 8 repeats. So I get to 8 and then I'll move my ball to the next one. But I did use Marley's, I think it was Marley and Caitlin that showed how to make it. I didn't get all the same tools. Because I don't always do so much beading, but I found the numbers at Hobby Lobby. But Marley has a link for, I think it's Amazon or no, who is it?
I think I have Amazon. I got mine on Amazon.
Okay.
I shared the DIY link with everybody if you're interested. Because Caitlin did that. If you guys remember, Caitlin's a total jeweler. Like she loves that stuff. I do too, but I mean, she's really good at that stuff. So there's an entire thing there. I think it's been updated. I mean, but if anything, you could always just look on Amazon and find you don't want letters, you want the numbers. And those I found that they were the harder ones to find, the numerical.
Yeah. The only place I could find them was Hobby Lobby without having to order them. But,
I'm impressed you found them there. I couldn't even find them there. I went and looked everywhere. But I mean, they're so helpful. You guys know how much I love stitch markers. It's sort of the same idea, only it's for your rows. And they're incredibly helpful.
Instead of moving the marker every repeat, if you're just doing like a blanket or something like that, or a sweater, and you have to know how many rows, you just move that. So it goes from 1 to 0. And so then if I put it on the 1, that means it's 11 now. And then you go all the way through 20. Yeah.
So Jean is leaving a comment. She says, just continue knitting using the left ball of yarn. Ignore the right side ball of yarn. This will connect the fronts. Absolutely. So you could, cut your yarn from the right side, leave a nice long tail so you can weave in those ends, and then just continue on. If you're using a color changing yarn, be very mindful of where you are in your color change. Like it could be that you want to start a new ball of yarn as you're starting this part of your entire back, because you're going across the entire body. So it might be that you want to start start a new ball of yarn at a specific color point, so that way it transitions all the way across the body. You decide. It's your piece. You do whatever you want to do. But that's one of the reasons why I designed it to be with just one color, because I didn't want to have to try and explain that to everybody, have people upset with it. So, but having said that, I will tell you, I'm digging all the ones where they're striped. Like they're so cool. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta have one of those.
The striping yarns or the blocking, like the bigger color changes, they look really nice. The variegated is you'll lose some of your stuff, but the roll with it that everyone's using, melange, that one is so pretty. I'm like jealous of all of those colors. I'm like, I guess I have to go make one. Maybe I'll make my crochet one like that.
You had to go with the chic sheep. That's what had to happen.
Hey, I'm excited that I got
know, right? I know, it's good yarn. So yeah, the roll with it melange. I've also seen a couple of people use Karen cakes, which look really good. The ombre looks really good because it transitions. So for the people who they started the ombre at the same color point on both fronts. So especially you guys, as you're working both of those along the fronts, make a conscious decision on what you want your next color to be. Whether you want it to be a definitive line, if you want it to naturally transition to wherever it's supposed to be, like think through that before you just jump into the next part, because that will be an important factor as you're working through this stuff for sure. But honestly, don't overthink this join. You literally are just going from working on two separate pieces to one piece, like side by side. It's really that easy. It's really that easy. Don't overthink all of the words and all that stuff. One stitch at a time. Eventually you won't have it, any markers except right there on the ribbing part. And
you get down to like three.
Yeah.
You're going to be instead of 10 or whatever you had before.
Just fine. Yes, Dawn Tennyson, you can absolutely rewatch this and hopefully it will help all of you and be good. My mom is here saying hello. She says hi to everybody.
Hi, Marley's mom.
Yeah, I know. So last night, I don't know if everybody caught it, but in the Marley's Minions group, I actually put out there the question whether the knitters thought if it would be okay if I gave the 3 extra days or 1 or 2 extra days. And like unanimously, there was not even one person that said no, keep it where it is. Like, and there were like 80 comments and I'm like, okay, so I guess that's my answer. And then I made sure I put on there, okay, when I put this out there, if anybody is upset, you guys are gonna have to get my back, because I'm trying really hard to make sure that this is good for everybody. And we are going to keep it good for everybody. So originally I was going to give out some prizes for Signature Needle Arts. They have given us 3 $50 gift cards for their needles. I was going to do it today. You know what? I'm going to do it tomorrow. And the reason I'm going to do it tomorrow is because I'm just telling you tonight at 7:30 at night. I know not everybody's going to watch this tonight. So tomorrow I'm going to look at all of the progress pages, all the progress threads. I'm also going to look on Instagram because I know that there are some people who aren't on Facebook checking out on Instagram. So I will look for #MarleyBird, and I'm going to pick 3 random winners who will get a $50 gift card to Signature Needles. And so that will be for just the knitters, because they only have knitting needles right now. And if you haven't used those before, I really like them. They're like
nice.
They're great. I love them, and they're not cheap. They're not cheap. I think they're fantastic. So I can't wait to do that. Angela is saying hello. Cindy is saying hi, Mom. Patricia is saying hello. Cheryl's here. She says late to the party. Cheryl's on her way too. She just joined the backs also on hers. It looks good. So that's it from us, everybody. I hope this was helpful. If anything, you can always ask questions in the Marley's Minions. Everybody, we're all there to answer questions. I know Christina has posted pictures. Excuse me. I'm sure you'll continue to do that to help everybody out. There are some other people there who have finished this part and who can help out, like Denise has finished this part and has moved on. I really, truly 100% hope you're enjoying this. If you are finding it stressful at all, please just set it down. I do not want this to be a stressful project for you at all. It's more important to me that you have an enjoyable time. If you need to set it down to finish a couple of Christmas gifts, totally fine. I understand. And it's okay. There's no shame in that whatsoever. If you need ideas for Christmas gifts, I have a really good book for you. So you can totally get that. And
especially if you want to do quick projects after doing such a long one. The long projects are for you or for somebody that's super important. Yes. The quickie ones are for the ones that you love, but maybe you didn't have time to make them that jacket or coat or sweater that you were trying to make them.
Yes. So. Ron and I were talking yesterday, right? It was the crocheters we were talking. She had tested the Xoxo cable knit hat. She made a gray one and a white one. I love this hat. I think it's awesome. I think she's getting her white one. Oh,
I'm getting my white one.
Here's my gray one.
So cute.
I love these hats. They're so fun. So this hat pattern is available in that Stash Busting Quickie. You can get it to partner up. Look how cute this is. This is one of the cowls. I love the stitch pattern. I mean, they partner up very well, but they're just fun.
See how those are quick and easy.
Very quick. I mean, gosh, I don't even know. I mean, I want to say this one. I mean, I'm a fast knitter though. I will tell you, so before I got to the crown, I had knit maybe 3.5, 4 hours. And then I did the crown maybe in an hour, maybe. And I was designing it at the time too. So I bet it would go a lot faster now that I'm not designing at the same time,
notes and doing all that,
just following instructions. Ron, it didn't take me very long at all.
Yeah. The first one took me, I would say probably 6 hours, and then the second one 4 hours maybe at the most. I knocked it out.
It goes really fast.
The second time, and I used the Chic Sheep, and it's just so much fun.
It's fun. Yeah. So if you haven't had enough cables, there's some more cables.
There's some more practice.
And a little bit of lace. There's a little bit of lace.
Let's see mine.
And some cables. I thought it looked like an XO. I don't know. They're fun, but it's a good little book full of quickie patterns. That's it. I think that's it. All right. I got to go pick up Laura from Michael's. She got a job at Michael's.
Oh,
so I know. I get to go pick her up. I told her, I said, tell them that your mom teaches their online classes. And she's like, no, I'm not telling anybody I know you. I was like, seriously? So my daughter, if you guys are ever over here in Hamilton Town Center, Michael's, look for Laura. It's my daughter, Allie. Say hello.
Can you say employee discount?
Yeah, I think so. I think she does. I know she gets it. I mean, so I guess I did use it. I hadn't even thought about that.
There you go.
Full price. the discount price last night that was already discounted, but I don't know. It's fun. Okay, let's see here. Mary Wright says, are most of the quickie patterns crocheted, or is it a good mix of knit and crochet patterns? There are 25 crochet, 21 knit. I think Tamara only designed one of the knit projects. I'm pretty certain of that. All the rest are mine. They're awesome, y'all. There's quite a few hand pieces, like hand warmers, hats. What else did I do? We both put in the leap day. So if you have not gotten the PDF for the leap day, cakelets we designed, like that one's in there because it just made sense. I was like, we should put that in there because we did those together, and then it's like a combination gift, so we have that in there. I have slipper socks in there. Gosh, I can't even think of what else.
There's a necklace.
Yeah,
there's two cuffs.
Yeah,
the home decor items,
the lace cuff, and then scarf. There's a scarf, a really cool cable scarf for knitters. I really like cables. Can you tell? I think they're so pretty. Once you know how to do them, they're so easy, and they pack a punch. They pack a punch for sure. So yeah,
the wine bottle too, right? The wine bottle.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Got to show that off.
So cute. Undercover wine sleeve. Lindsay Martin named it. She's like, it's your undercover wine sleeve. Anyways, okay. I got to go pick up Allie Girl. Thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight. Thank you, all the knitters out there, for being so generous with your time and your patience and encouragement. Make sure you continue to encourage one another. stay online and keep checking back, because I'm going to keep putting instructions up there so that the free instructions are online. I'm just extending out the days a little bit. And then towards the end of it all, I'll have an ad-free PDF available for purchase that you can check out. And then don't forget that Tuesday is when 24 Days of Quickie starts. So each day from December 1st to December 24th, there will be 1 knitting pattern for free every day and 2 crochet patterns. So you could, if you're by Crafty, you could get 3 patterns free every day. Like it's crazy. It's madness. And there's so many people participating. So it's really cool. All right.